Good morning, everybody. We're going to get right into it this morning. I'm going to talk about strategy, which we all have, versus execution. So, anybody that joined me on yesterday's live stream, I was talking about my TQQQ position and when I would sell it. And I gave you guys my price target. I said it'd be worth 230 plus 30 cents per time. I was going to get out of that option at $2.60 per contract, the same contract that I got in at $1.45. Heck of a return. So that strategy, execution, fail. Why? Because I didn't trust the markets yesterday. So what did I do? Well, I sold 2 hours early on my SQQQ, meaning I could have got the 260 I asked for. Instead, I got $2 that I asked for actually selling. I missed out on 30%. So strategy was there, execution poor. And that happens to all of us. So some people think I'm going to come on and talk about midterm elections, what's happening, how it's going to affect the market. I did that yesterday, I told you. But understand, midterm elections are not going to affect whether you're profitable in today's market or not. What I'm going to share with you today is going to help you process today's market. The information, the data, that's going to help you be a winning trader. Caring about the elections, oh, I was hoping for Republicans or Democrats because the market tends to do this. That's BS. What's going to help you is coming up with the right strategy and then executing your strategy. So me yesterday, remember pre-market I came on, I said SPY, top side, 385 yesterday. Bottom side prediction, 379 to 380. I got into SPY puts yesterday. Good strategy, poor execution. I told everybody 385 on the top side. When did I get involved in SPY puts? SPY was like 383.50, 384 and change. I'm in SPY puts. Yes, I was correct. The SPY went down. I was able to secure profit. I rode some contracts over to today, but my strategy was correct. My execution was poor. I said the SPY could go up to 385. So why did I get in so early? Well, I have anxiety. I've shared it with you guys before. I see a trade, I know it's going to be successful, and I have this eagerness to get in. And if you have the same eagerness, it's best to journal all of your trades, because on my journal, it always says, I got in too early. I got in too early. I got in too early. Repetitive actions. So even though it's there and I'm a very visual person, I need to pay attention to go in later. All right, so let's talk about what's coming out this morning, 8:30. I'm assuming inventory numbers came out. Oh, no, that's 10 a.m. Mortgages come out, could be 10 a.m. Market right now, SPY is at 380 and change. Why is that important? Because we bounced off 380. That was my prediction for the low yesterday because 380 has been support. We bounced off there twice this morning. But let's go into earnings, and then I'll tell you why I think the SPY is going where it's going. All right. So earnings came out. AMC, they actually look like they beat. They're down 3%. AMC could drop 5.5% today. So I believe there is more downside. Affirm, bad earnings again. Affirm was down as much as 17%. They're only down 12% right now. So I know that Affirm has an extra 5% on the downside. This is how I determine whether the market has more room to go down or up. Plug was down 4%, then was up 2%. It's basically flat. I would stay away from that. Walt Disney Company minus 8%. I thought when they missed earnings that they would drop 10 or 11%. So if Disney, in my mind, has another 3% downside, that means the market could fall further. Next, Upstart was down 25% or a little over, is only down 20% now. So that tells me upside has more downside. Occidental Petroleum, Energy Corporations. Occidental actually came in line. They didn't beat. They were straight in line with revenues. They're off, 2% this morning. However, energy costs are going down that we can see as far as oil goes. So, yeah, I think that has more room to fall. Roblox, I suggested they might miss this morning. Again, I wasn't sure about it. I didn't place a bet. Now, here was the reason for Roblox. China regulates the usage of games. I don't know how they do it, but I'm told the iPad or whatever app they're using actually shuts off when they're past their 45 minutes, the kids. Not to mention, kids in China don't have the same Roblox we do. They're not playing games. they're getting educational material. Like on TikTok, they're seeing science videos, they're seeing school videos, they're not seeing cool dances. Not that I have any cool dances. All right, next. Lucid was down as much as 11%. It's only down 7.5%. So I think Lucid has another 4 or 5% that it could fall today. So again, you have bad earnings, lowered PE, lowered expectations will bring the stock price down. So yes, what are we told? We're told everybody buys the dip. Buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip. Now, why is that different? Because tomorrow, Thursday, we have CPI numbers coming out pre-market. Now, people might say to me, well, let's look to China. They just dropped their PPI numbers overnight, and their PPI number was down. Guess who believes China? Not me. So I'm not saying China's PPI will have influence on US CPI. In fact, there should be very little correlation. If we were talking about Canada, maybe a little on Mexico, you assume the economies roll off each other a little because we're trading partners. We live in the same, continent, the same environment. But again, I'm not trusting CPI because what happens? We were told CPI numbers coming down. We were told that was happening over the summer and that we already peaked. And then what happened last few months? We went up with CPI. So I'm going to say, be careful. Now let's talk about the SPY. Okay, let's slow down, take a sip. Here we go. SPY, let me bring it up because we're probably sitting at 380 and change pre-market. Let's see, add to stream. Okay, here we go. So we got the SPY up. We closed at 382. Yeah, perfect. We're sitting at 380, spot 36, $380.36. Understand, doesn't have pre-market here, but we've hit the support level twice pre-market at 380. So where do I think the SPY could go? Well, I base it on history. If I could show you my big board, I would, but I can't. So ranges for the SPY as we sit at 380. Understand, we'll do a bull case scenario first, understanding I am still bearish in this market. So I would rather the second case scenario actually happen. But I like to provide both so that you have a good plan. Yeah, I haven't talked about Hood, FTX, Binance, Coin, but Bitcoin, crypto getting rocked. But we could talk about that shortly. It has to do with liquidity, and there's a lack of liquidity. I mean, when FTX comes out and they say, yeah, we have enough in case everybody wanted to make a withdrawal, and then there's like a run to the ATM, it just doesn't make sense. Binance bailed them out. All right, SPY ranges. 378 has been support. Understand that was support yesterday when the market fell, and I've been talking about 378 for a number of weeks, and I also speak about 389 and 390. But 378 is major support. So we bounced off that yesterday around 2 p.m. We went to 377 and change, and then we quickly bounced. And when I say quickly, we went to 378, 379, 380, back to 382 within like 15 minutes. So there was major support at 378. Now, what did I tell Discord? Not surprising if we bounce off 378 and we should reject 381. Was I correct about that? No, we went all the way up to like 383 and I'm like, wow, they are still buying. So understand the next inflection point up from 378 is 381. We crashed through there during yesterday's recovery at like 2:30, 2:45 p.m. Shocked me. But I knew the next step up was going to be 385, which we already rejected that morning. So it wouldn't have surprised me if we got up to 385 and it rejected again. Now, why the craziness in the market, right? Let me explain that before I explain the bear case scenario. Craziness in the market because volume on the SPY was light on Monday, or in the market in general. Light on Monday, light on Tuesday, probably going to be light today, which means you can have some violent movements upward and downward. So be prepared for both. And that's why I say lock in profits unless you have a bigger game plan. Bigger game plan would be like CPI is reporting tomorrow morning. I'm going to stay in my position because I think this is going to happen. Now, understand the light volume in the market is a key tell for me that there's so much big money waiting on the sidelines. Now, we had the Fed a week ago Wednesday when they raised interest rates 0.75 or 75 basis points. We saw the drop from 389, top side of the SPY, all the way to, I think, 374, something to that extent. Understand, lots of money left on that Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday in the market. Now that we've had a little bit of a bull run, which we predicted as a bounce, right? Volume's lighting up. When there's lighter volume, there's so much more risk involved. So when I suggest to you secure profits, you get that spike that you're looking for, secure profits. You get that dip that you were looking for, secure profits. What can you do? You can re-enter the trade. All right. So, okay, let's talk about, again, where the SPY is going. We're sitting at 380. Let's see where we're sitting pre-market again. I'm very forgetful. 380, almost flat. So that's a great thing because it's easy to remember. So we're sitting 380 flat. Now I'm going to give you a bear case. All right. Bear case scenario is everything that I mentioned about earnings. All of these massive companies missed. Understand, when Disney missed earnings, their streaming business, they had a loss of $1.8 billion, doubling from last year. So the analysts were talking and they were saying, well, does Disney have to bump up their monthly charge from $20 to $40 in order to break even? It's the cost of content. It's the same problem that Netflix is going to have. Paramount got downgraded. I mean, Paramount went on quite a run over the past couple of days. However, it's been downgraded to like $12. So again, bearish sentiment on the market, and that is why I have it. Plus, I don't trust CPI numbers come out. Every time I thought they were going to be hot, they came in cool, right? All those times I'm like, the market's going to drop. They're coming in hot. They came in cool. The market shot up. And then a day or two later, the market came back down. So do not get fooled tomorrow morning. Whatever happens in the market, similar to what I said what would happen when the Fed raised 75 basis points. Pump, dump, pump, dump, pump, dump, or vice versa. Dump, pump, dump, pump, dump, pump. The point is, there is money to be made. We make money in volatility because we're in a trade, hopefully at good entry. We have strategy, and we know as soon as it makes it to a certain level, we're going to secure profit. All right, so 378, when the SPY went to 378 yesterday, that was a great time for me. When it spiked up back up past 383, that was a great time to re-enter. Do not get emotional with a trade. If you're in a trade, secure profit, re-enter the trade. Doesn't matter, one contract, two contracts, keep it simple. Don't over leverage yourself. All right, so let's get into my bear case scenario. Again, 381 rejects on the SPY, 378 is the next level. Well, the same way when we attack levels going up, when we broke 371 going up to 374, going up to 378, the SPY or the market's going to attack on the same way going down, meaning we'll press 380 this morning pre-market now 3 times. One of the times, it's likely to break under. Again, bear case scenario. When it breaks under, we attacked 378 yesterday. We fell just under 378 to 377, like 78, and we bounced off there. So there is good likelihood the first time we touch 378 today that we bounce. So if I was going to give a prediction in the market, I'd say we open up at 380, we go to 379 to 381, back down. But when we get to 378, we're going to bounce. Same as yesterday at 2:15 p.m. However, we tend to see a market move like this. Let me just see if I can draw a quick picture. Of course, I don't have a pen here, so I'll use this one. But we've seen what we call the double dip. So you've got the market, where is it? Over here, plays run, then it goes down. It looks like it's going to rebound, right? But no, it gets full. When does the double dip usually occur? Around 10:15 in the morning. These are all Eastern times. And around 11:15. Meaning, when you see the market going one way, it tries to fool you by recovering, right? And then you're like, oh, I'll get into calls. What happens 10 minutes later? Double dip. You're at a lower point. Now you're stuck in calls going, did I make the wrong decision? Well, first off, if you didn't have a complete strategy, you shouldn't enter the trade. Anybody that's trading between 9:30 and 10:30 a.m., you have a complete strategy saying, here's where the SPY is. Here's where I think it's going. The reason I like to wait is because the bid and the ask, the range narrows around 10:30 a.m. All right, so again, SPY, bear case scenario, we end up breaking that 378. Does it happen today? It might not happen today, but it could. Understand, let's talk about if CPI comes in hot tomorrow. If it comes in hot, and we're talking about the SPY ranges, and we're talking about the market going down, if CPI comes in hot, means Fed is not doing their job, Fed has to be more aggressive. If Fed says they have to be more aggressive, 75 basis points in December. If that happens, the market goes down. So again, 378 is support currently. We've bounced off it yesterday. If we break 378, you're going to see 375. 375 is like an interim point. If we break 375, we're going to 371. Let me pull up the SPY chart and talk about worst case scenario. Worst case scenarios, let me go to the 2-hour chart, and we can go back to where we closed on Friday and where we opened up on Monday 2.5 weeks ago. We closed at 358. We opened up on the SPY. Geez, I hope you guys are looking with me. You are, thank goodness. We opened up that Monday at 364.50. So there's a gap at 358, 359. We haven't filled it yet. Understand, all these other gaps back here always get filled. Gaps get filled. If there's one thing you learn about investing, it's gaps always get filled. All right, we gapped down here. We filled it up right there. So understand, gaps get filled. So worst case scenario, given the SPY, given CPI tomorrow, that we fill the gap on the way down, not happening on Thursday, like immediately, like, oh shit, let's sell off. Up there it is, 378, we filled. But again, my contracts, I bought out till Monday. So we have an announcement Thursday, then you have Friday's activity, then you have Monday's activity. Again, institutions probably bought out till December. They buy themselves more than enough time, especially when they're doing a hedge. But going down, okay, 378, which is acting as support, could turn into resistance. 375, next leg down. Meaning, if you're like, okay, it's at 376, it's going to touch 375. And if it breaks 375, whether it's tomorrow, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, sometime in the future, when it breaks 377, so you're looking at it 373, understand it's got to touch 371. Once it breaks support, it always has to go down to the next level. Let's say 99% of the time. All right, 371, 67, 63, and then you are at 59 filling the gap. So there's quite a number of levels down. That's about 6 or 7% from where we are in the market right now. Understand, if CPI comes in light, right? Something with a 7 in front of it, 7.5. Oh, we're just at 8.2, 7.5. Oh my God, pricing, everything must be going down. The Fed's doing their job. Maybe they will ease up and become more dovish in December. All right. So that's the bull case scenario. What happens? Well, we attack that level at 389, 390 on the SPY. So we're sitting at 382. Again, I'm a bear, so I do not anticipate this happening. But you have to be ready for both case scenarios. If the market is bullish and the market gets bought up, understand 389 is the next level, and it's likely that by the end of the year we go over 400. Again, bull case scenario saying CPI comes in light, the Fed is doing their job, 75 basis points is off the table in December, and then the market will benefit from that. The market will have a bull run to the end of the year. Now, I've got to imagine CPI is coming in hot. I've seen my gas prices go back up. When I go to the supermarket, back up. I'm actually looking for a different place to rent. Rent prices back up. Not to mention rents going up, home sales going down. Mortgage information coming out today should press down certain Dow plays in the market, maybe material plays, maybe home builders like HD or Lowe's. Again, if mortgage rates go down, that means less people are buying. Mortgage, not rates, because we know rates are going up. They're at a 20-year high right now. So again, I've got my strategy. I'm checking out the SPY. Doesn't surprise me. Pre-market, we're at 380.79. So we're up about 80 cents since I mentioned that. But understand, 381 will either be support or resistance. So even if we pass 381, and that's how I expect the market to open. Market opens, spike up, then the selling starts. Now, yesterday, it didn't happen like that. Monday, it did. So again, I have different scenarios that play out. Please, everybody, use various scenarios. Don't get tied or emotional to one play. Don't be like, I know this is going to happen, or like you're like, Bitcoin is oversold. I know people are going to start buying crypto, because there's a chance that if the market goes down, CPI comes in hot, that people will continue to sell crypto as the market's going down and the NASDAQ stocks are going up. Now, if CPI comes in light, I bet we see a bounce in crypto. But do you want to risk your account on that saying, I know one way or the other crypto is going to bounce? Me personally, no, because I don't follow crypto the way I used to. What do I follow? I follow tech stocks. I see tech stocks are having tough earnings. I see tech stocks are giving you bad forecasting going forward. So that makes me worried. I mean, let's look at Meta this morning. Meta's up, I think, 5% pre-market, or at least it was the last time I checked. Understand the volume on Meta. Let me see if I can just find it right here. Don't see it yet. The volume on Meta was light. So for the last 3 days, when they've been buying Meta off of that dip, and we came like this, and we circled back, and we're now, where is it? The pre-market, I got to see, $100. So it closed at 96. It's up 4.5% pre-market. Understand, off 2.4 million shares. It does about 40 million shares on the day. So people like the news, and the news was Zuckerberg is laying off 13%. And then he came on and retweeted and said, no, I think it's only 11%. I apologize. Well, they're like last in line. We've had Amazon, Google, Rivian, Lucid, Tesla, Twitter, obviously, Roku. Everybody's laying off people in the tech industry. So Meta's last to announce it, and it's up 5%. I would stay away from Meta. I'm just looking at the volume. I would think an entry on Meta would be more fair at like 94. But again, if the market goes down, if Bitcoin goes down, if other cryptos go down, if earnings keep missing, let's bring up Roblox. We spoke about Roblox on my Discord yesterday. I said, I have no position, but if I was going to make a wager, I would say Roblox misses and is off somewhere between 13 and 17%. So I think Roblox is actually off probably like 15% this morning, 15.56%. Now, why did I think Roblox is going to miss? Because I know that China limits the usage of games and toys and digital equipment to their kids. Just a simple fact, and they're very good about that. If not, I would be a bullish Roblox because my kids love the game and my kids' friends spend tons of money on the game. But I'm a realist and I understand what impacts it. So again, looking at the SPY, probably 381 right now. I expect it to reject 381. If it does go past 381, I'm really looking at 382, which is where it is the highest pre-market as far as like 6 a.m., 8 a.m. on the spike. If it doesn't reject 381, I would assume it would reject 382. Again, I'm a bear in play. I'm basing my bearish sentiment off earnings. I'm basing my bearish sentiment that there's a ton of money on the sidelines and everybody is waiting on CPI. And it's not like CPI, again, affects the market, but CPI, PPI have direct effect on what the Fed is doing. Oh, yes, we have more Fed speakers today. We have a Fed speaker on Friday. I'm sure they're just going to be talking about elections all day and uncertainty. And then you're going to have some type of BS come out and say there's kind of fraud here or fraud there. So I expect more disarray. Now, will that have a direct effect on our market? No, but you have to get into the psyche of traders. When you're hearing different things about either countries struggling, industries struggling, pricing struggles, discrepancies in voting or something to that extent. I mean, the country is broken. We all know that. If we had a fixable country, I'd be buying the dips. I would say, okay, buy the dips. But what are we having right now? It looks like Democrats might keep the Senate. Republicans win the House. We have maybe a president that could be a lame duck president. We have Trump, who's announcing that he could potentially run again, and he's saying that it's going to happen in the next week or so. So it's confusing. Countries in disarray. We have what's going on in the Middle East. We have Russia, Ukraine. We have China. China still zero COVID, lockdown. So zero policy, meaning one person has COVID, lockdown. They just locked down another hotel. I think it was 2 days ago, 800 people, 4 days they have to stay in their room, and then they have to be required testing. So until China changes their COVID policy, I don't trust China. China, UK, Europe, headed to recession. What is it going to do? It's going to force us down. I'm still a bear, but remember, we day trade. So my strategy, again, if I'm getting into puts, I'm looking for rejection. I'm not getting into puts before 10:30 a.m. way I trade. So I'd be looking at 381, 382, 383. I'd skip 384 because we saw it break past there. 385 was rejection yesterday. If you're looking for support and you're bullish, which I am not, you could see support. You can be like, okay, well, I want to find support at 380 pre-market, 381 when the market opens. Then I want to see it at 382. And from 382, we could go up to 385. Again, have your strategy. Know what your exit is. If I was bullish, I'd be like 385. I'm selling. If the market goes to 385, I'm out. If I'm bearish, which I am, what I'm probably going to do is when the market goes to 377.87, where it was yesterday on the SPY, I will probably sell part of my positions because that's where we bounced yesterday. I will probably carry some that go forward until Monday just in case CPI is shitty, because if we decide to fill a gap or the market drops 3%, and remember, CPI is tricky. We might get a number, get a pump, dump. But I'm saying Combine CPI, have it so you have all Thursday, all Friday, all Monday. If the market decides to give up 3 or 4%, 4% on the SPY would be about 13 points. Let's say we closed at 380, 13 points is 367. If I've got some 383 puts, they're going to be worth $1,600, not $500. So I'm talking about a 200% return. That's why I will likely hold 1 or 2 contracts going forward. I don't want to put too much risk going to CPI, because if I'm wrong, if they're like, oh, gas, energy, everything's down, food is down, costs you less to rent, costs you less for a car, everything's coming down, Fed, good job. Then the Fed will be like, oh, thank you. We're only going to raise 25 or 50 basis points in December. And you could tell that by looking at the Fed swaps rate. You can Google it and you could be like, how does the Fed swaps rate tell me how much their interest rate is going to raise next month? And you'll see it, and you'll see links and things of that nature, and that'll help you understand. All right, so before I get off, SPY just broke 380 to the downside again. I mean, we're still before 9 o'clock. It's still pre-market. I'm still a bear. Okay, so let's go back to the bearish levels, because where can we go today or bounce off of? If we don't bounce off 378, then we will likely break through. If we break through 378, then we'll likely touch 375. Would I think we bounce off 375? Well, we seem to bounce off every support number. So I'd say yes. Does it mean we can't go lower? Yeah, we could go lower. Again, light volume. So I do expect some craziness, crazy swings. So if there's a market drop, it wouldn't surprise me if the market shoots up 2 minutes later, like we saw at 215, 230 yesterday, because volume was light. All right, with that said, I'm heading over to Discord. You guys are awesome. I'm just looking for any questions. I don't really see them. Listen to earnings, 370 today, back to Monday's price, in my opinion, even on the weekend, back into CPI. Yeah, so but understand your 2-case scenario. Bull case scenario, 378, 375, 371. But you also have to understand the flip side. Bull case scenario on the way up, 381, 385, 390. So the point is, you understand that if we break through and you're wrong about a trade, and it happened to me in the past, I've been wrong about the trade and I'm like, oh, we broke 381 going up, I'm a bear. Shoot, if we're heading to 385 and you're in puts and we break past 381 and you think it's going to the 385 level, then you want to sell those and rebuy when we get to 385. Again, great strategy yesterday. I called 385 on the top pre-market. You were all here with me. And when did I jump into puts? At 383.50. I was $1.50 early. When did I sell my TQQQs? 2 hours early. I left 30% on the table. So please have strategy, know your execution, and then execute. Executing is the hardest thing. It's the hardest thing involved. Planning and everything else, 90% of trading. The execution and the actual trading, 10%. All right, man. Love you all. Appreciate it. Please share the video. If you like my pre-market, analysis, share it with friends. Be like, hey, this dude's pretty good. Hey, I like listening to this dude. Below, we have 7 free days if you join our platform. There's no reason not to. It's free days. So not only do I give advice, help, diagnose the market, but Romeo goes on live 2 to 3 times a week for a live stream, and his live stream, I've been on fire. So I don't like to trade between 9:30 and 10:30 a.m. That's all this dude does is trade 9:30 to 10:30. He sees stuff I don't see. He's like, we're up 11%. We're up 30%. We're up 80%. Okay, I'm exiting out. I'm taking 80% on 2 of my contracts. I'm letting 1 ride. And then he'll be like, we're up 150%. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for Discord. I'll see you guys later.